All right, we are live, and yet it is time for another Odd Couple Costa Rica podcast. Hey, Michael, are you ready for another great show?
I don't know. I love those fireworks, man. That's a good opening. I'm not sure why I
Hey,
don't have any. Why don't I have some fireworks? I want
man,
fireworks.
I don't know. I think I'm special, man. I just like I get fireworks. I don't know.
I don't care about your fireworks. I got my coffee. That's all I really need right here.
And that's
Got
about
the
right.
big cup.
Well, today is a big cup kind of day. So,
I
hey,
think so.
before we get into it, Michael, man, how was your week?
Well, I'm actually going to be making a video about this week, but I didn't even tell you. Got my
No way. I
residency.
thought I was your best friend,
Got
man. What's the deal?
Got my residency.
No way.
I'm not gonna. You know what? It's still. I got my residency, but I'm going to be making a video, so I don't want to say too much now.
Oh my gosh.
But
Okay.
I
Well,
did
not
get my
it's
residency.
cliffhanger. Okay.
That was
I'm
good.
gonna do like all of the haters on my channel. Clickbait, clickbait, clickbait.
It's not clickbait. It's not clickbait. It's just I got a lot of things to say, and I can't say any one thing without kind of saying a bunch of stuff. It's a kind of a story. I can't just like
right.
say this thing. So I do have a video. I'm going to be making a video this week about it, kind of my experience and all this stuff. So
Awesome.
Look forward to that. If you watch my channel, I'd appreciate it. I just want to say real quick, some people, that 180 days, you get 180 days, right? There's a thing going around where there is a law right now in the works that everything is going to be associated with your passport. So if you get 180 days, because the big thing's about the driving license thing. The driver's license is only good for 90 days. And if I'm here 100 days, but they stamp me 180, I'm going to get pulled over and I'm going to be taken to the gulag. Okay, so they're making they're having a law, and they're fixing the one where you're also applied for your residency too. So it all coincides with your driver's license, but it's not a law yet. Now I'm just going to say it again. I never cared if it was a law. Nobody's going to arrest you or give you a ticket for that. I'm sorry that I've lived here longer than most people, but everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be going. I'm going to get a no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
But anyway. Costa Rica's doing the right thing, and I don't know when that law will get approved because we know we've lived here long enough to know that could be another year and a half.
Well, I got an email a couple of days ago that they've already approved it, and right now, if you can,
no, they didn't. It was the language. It's in the process. It's been put in, but what happened? It came out
bottom line, they are working on it.
Yeah, the Nacion kind of. It was worded to where it kind of sounded like it was happening, and it might be as good as done. I'm not saying that, I think I always knew this was going to happen. This is not like a surprise. I just never cared personally because I will drive regardless. If I got 180, I'd be driving at 100 days. I do not care, but I understand a lot of people do. But just let you know, whatever you've read, it's in the process of becoming a law. It is not one yet.
Right, absolutely. And hey, before we get started on today's topic, already we got some valuable information. We ain't even got started. But before we do get started, we've adjusted the audio. So somebody give us some feedback. Is Mike still yelling at you guys? And am I still whispering at you? How does the audio sound today? We've been adjusting it, so it should be good today. So somebody give us some feedback.
Actually, it's funny you said that. I actually hear you a little softer in my speakers than normal, but I know most people say you're not talking loud enough. But for me, I just had to turn up my speakers all the way. But I'm sure other people are like, see, audio is great.
Okay, well, according to the feedback, it says both audio sounds pretty level. So,
hey, dude, this is time for fireworks. This is time for fireworks, and do it. Where is it? Yeah. I'll drink to the sound.
That's right. Okay, well, good. Well, we've made some adjustments. Well, hey, look, we've got a lot of people here already today. That's good news. And today we have a killer Odd Couple Costa Rica live broadcast for you today because today, there's I got a bold prediction. Okay, now let me tell you something. I'm not a prophet and I'm not good at prediction, so I could blow this totally out the wrong end. Okay, but here's what I'm predicting. Okay, and I'm predicting this based on what I've seen happen the last couple of years. Okay, and I'm not into politics. I could care less whether you're for or you're against and this and that. But what I saw happen at the last election, we saw some crazy things happen. And I heard people say, doggone, if Trump gets in, if he's reelected, I'm out of here. If Biden gets in, I'm out of here. Well, what we saw was a mass exodus of people leaving their home country and going to Costa Rica. Well, I predict that that same exact thing is going to happen. And I believe that from now until election, we're going to see some crazy stuff happen. And I don't want to go into the details on what I think is going to happen, but from now until election and up to a year afterwards, I think we're going to see a mass exodus of people leaving their home country. And so today, that's what we're talking about. Hey, is it time to leave the United States? Um, if you are living in Costa Rica, put in the comments that you're living in Costa Rica right now. And I'd like to know, why did you leave your home country? Today, we're talking about why. So, Mike, why?
Well, I think what happened was, I think what happened, let's be honest, we have a relocation retreat coming up next weekend. We're talking about the relocation retreat, and this made us think. Now, just so we're clear, this isn't a relocation retreat podcast today, okay? But the idea of the podcast came because the relocation retreat is coming up next week. And I'm sure we will say later that if you're thinking about coming to, moving and Costa Rica's on your radar, the relocation retreat might be for you. Okay, we are probably will say that later, but that's not what we're doing today. We're kind of like, is it time to make a move? Is it time to get off your ass? And if you're not, why not? If you are thinking, what are you thinking? Where are you thinking? All of it. And again, before we start, nobody, I promise you, at least me, I don't give a fuck if you move to Costa Rica. All right. I don't care. That's not what I do. I give information. All right. So we are not trying to push Costa Rica about what we're going to talk about today, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Would you agree with that, Alan?
Hey, look, I agree 100%. And the whole reason we are doing this today is exactly what Lori is saying. I can't wait to get up the courage to sell, pack, and move to Costa Rica. That's what we're talking about today. Hey,
Right.
look, my life, Michael's life is not going to change one bit if you come to Costa Rica. So we're not here to convince you. Okay. Look, Michael, he's been doing this longer than anybody, and he does it because he does tour packages. Kudos. I don't have anything to sell. I do this because, man, I made every mistake in the book, and I just genuinely like to help people. So I don't have anything to sell. So anyway, hey, our whole point is to give you information and find out, hey, what information do you want? If there's one question you could ask to get you off the fence, today is the day to ask that question. I want to know, what is it, Lori, that is keeping you from getting the courage to pack up and move? Is there one thing that if I answered that question, you'd say, that's what I needed? Well, that's what we're here for today. Do you agree, Mike?
Well, I want to go back a little bit. I want to go maybe talk a little bit again briefly. I got two things to say. Two podcasts ago, somebody made the comment that I happened to see later that said, when you started talking about Biden in a negative light, I'm done with you guys. I'm done. I want to make something perfectly clear before we start this. I do not play for a team. I don't pitch for a team. I don't play teams. My political views are it's two sides of the same coin. I don't think any of the political people speak for you. I don't like picking between two people that suck. And I'm sorry if I said, if you can't see Biden's in his like, I won't even say dementia. If you can't see he's not getting older and probably not the person to run one of the, biggest country in the world, that kind of thing, I'm sorry. And I don't care. But if you think that means I'm pro-Trump, you are absolutely wrong again. And you assumed way too much. So I just want to say that. And the other thing I want to say is I think, judging on my emails, a lot of people the political system in the States does seem to be a reason why people are emailing me or emailing Panama or emailing Portugal. So I know it's true because I see it, and it's not. And you know what I've also seen politically wise, it's not one party, it's both. Because some people think I'm a Trumper and some people think I'm for Biden. It's funny. Some people go, you wouldn't believe it, Michael. The nation's going downhill. And if Trump is elected, it's going to get worse. And other people go, if Biden gets elected, it's going to be worse. So I can tell I'm doing my job well because I definitely don't play for a team. But my point is, I'm seeing it from both people. And I would have to agree that I do believe in general, without getting into the weeds on this, that the US right now is probably not in the best, I believe they're going a little downhill. I really do. I think the glory days might be a little bit behind them. I think we got some catching up to do if we're going to get things straight. And I'm not sure who that person is. I'm just saying. And the other thing, I'm sorry, Audi, let's go one more thing. I just, I don't think the government is there to help you. I think, okay, so if the government's not really there to help you, what are you going to do? At some point, you got to make decisions, and some of them are hard to do. Is the United States? Is this? If you kind of think the same way I do, are you just going to ride this decline out, or is it on your? Maybe you make a move. Maybe you go on an adventure. Maybe you go, man, I can't watch this. It's too. Yeah. I watch it from afar, and it saddens me. It saddens me from afar. I couldn't imagine living in it. So I'm just saying that's one reason I think people are looking at Costa Rica and other countries. And I think, and there's some people, they're just ready to make a move. They want to start a new adventure in their life. Maybe they're retiring. I'm sorry, I've talked way too much.
Oh no, I agree. And hey, 100%. Me being a United States Marine, I used to be extremely, extremely proud of my country. Well, now I hate to even admit I'm from the United States. Things look so bad, but hey, it's exactly what you said. So I won't go on, but it's a whole lot of people like Tom right here. Tom says, hey, the political BS in the U.S. is why I'm leaving the U.S. in 2 weeks. Okay, well, that's his why. I've already purchased a house in Costa Rica in Nuevo Arenal. Can't wait to put my U.S. life behind me. See you guys in 14 days. Hey, that's Tom's why, okay? And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear your why. Take a look at what Doug says. Doug's from Canada. I like to hear why some other places. He says not only in the U.S. is this happening, but in Canada. If in his opinion, if Trudeau gets back in 2 years' time, there'll be a mass exodus out of Canada, or Alberta splitting from Canada. So, there's a lot of reasons. Now, look, hey, there's a lot of people who are saying it's political. However, there's a lot of people that they're saying, because I saw it right here. Hang on a second. Right here. Take a look what Jennifer says. Jennifer says, hey, I totally agree. Both parties are ridiculous. However, that's not the reason we're leaving the United States. Hey, that wasn't the reason that Rebecca and I left the United States. Had nothing to do with politics, okay? And so I want to know, what is the reason you're leaving the United States? Hey, Jennifer, share, if you don't mind, your reason. It's not political. Well, what is it that made you say, you know what? It's time to make the move, because that's what we're talking about today. Earlier when asking, I can't remember who it was, but she said that she can't wait to get the courage to go. Lori said that, and I'm like, well, what's stopping you? And Lori says she's scared. Hey, that is a legitimate thought.
I got something to say about that. I got to tell you, my background is psychology and all that kind of stuff, but everybody knows grieving, right? The grieving process. Somebody dies, you go through a grieving process. You lose a job that you love, maybe. There's a grieving process. But there's also a type of grief that is the opposite. It's when you realize that you're never going to do the thing you said you were going to do, or get the thing you said you were going to get, or paint the picture you said you were going to paint, or do any of those things. That's also a type of grief. And I would hate, because I understand that scaredness. But you know what's worse than being scared? is regretting not doing it because you'll never know. You will never know. You know what? Go wherever. It doesn't matter. Do it maybe an extended vacation. Maybe it's not Costa Rica, and maybe you kind of venture out, and then you can go. I don't know, man. That's they seem third world to me. I couldn't. I can't. At least you know. At least
Exactly.
you know. So I would
However,
hate to see
she's
people.
on the right track.
I would just hate to see people kind of sitting there, maybe let's say my age, 63, and just realizing that their lot in life is not going to change because they are maybe too scared. Maybe there's some other issues. I get it, family, health, all those things. But man, life is short, man. Life is short. And do you want, I mean, what's the best control in your life? Is taking control, going on that adventure, man. We need adventures. We need to conquer something, man. And it's so exhilarating. I can't, when you realize you're doing it and you are scared, but you're doing it, man, you can look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm doing it,
That's right. That's right. And Laura is saying, hey, I feel it in my soul. I feel like it's the right move, and it's getting that courage to go and do it. So Laura, I hope that maybe after today we can answer those questions. Maybe after what you're seeing here, because there are a lot of things, like Michael S here says, well, everybody says it's expensive there, and I really want to live simple. Well, guess what? Got great news for you. I think, Michelle. Look, no one's living more simple than Michael and myself. And guess what? If you want to live simple, it's not expensive at all. So if you want to live simple, great news, it's not expensive. Now, if you don't want to live simple,
I've
it's
said it
going
a
to
million
cost.
times. I'm going to keep saying it. Rent, internet, lights, water, 2 bedrooms, $340 a month. I don't know what is more simple than that.
I don't know if I can afford that, Michael. $340 a month. I don't know who can afford that.
You might have to start buying white T-shirts. I don't know, but
or maybe black.
Rebecca, where are you? He's going south.
So hey, so I'm gonna take a look at some of these other ones here. Okay. Now, Juan here says, Juan So says it's important to be honest about cultural values that you seek. At first, I thought I understood this question, but hey, the culture is different. So you're going to have fun learning about a whole different culture. So one thing is for sure, when you come to Costa Rica, you do have to be open to learning something. And for me, I love to learn. So you will learn a lot of different things, and you do have to be honest about, the culture that you have in the United States or wherever you're from is not going to be the same as here. And so it doesn't mean that you can't, I always say I live way up here on the top of the mountain, so I can have whatever kind of culture I want up here. I control my environment. And that is the number one thing, in my opinion. If you want to have a simple life, if you want to avoid all the headaches, CYE, control your environment. I can control my environment here. I don't have neighbors with barking dogs. I don't have neighbors with teenage kids that want to party all weekend long. I control my environment, so I have a very relaxed, very tranquil. I have a great atmosphere. See, so and up here, I can have whatever culture I want. Man, if I want to celebrate Thanksgiving, I can go get turkeys and I can do whatever. If I want to have Christmas trees, I can do that. So it's all about controlling your environment and living the way you want to live.
Some people go head first into the culture. Now you have to learn the culture because you're going to be adapting and living here and adapting and adjusting a lot to the culture. But some people immerse themselves more than others. So there's all kinds of things you can do. But obviously, anywhere you live that's not the United States or like a first world, Canada, Europe type of thing, there's going to be a lot of adjusting and adapting. And it may not be for you. It may not be for you.
Right. Now take a look at Crystal. Crystal says, hey, this is my why. Crystal says, I'm more scared to stay wherever she's at, U.S. or whatever country, politics, people losing their minds, healthcare costs are out of control. So, hey, that's her why. And you know what? You come to Costa Rica, once you become a resident, well, healthcare costs really minimizes a whole lot, especially if you're healthy. I practically have zero healthcare cost. Okay. But when I do become a resident, yeah, I'll be paying into the Caja. And so my healthcare costs will go up a little bit. Won't be nowhere near like it is in the United States. So hey, it sounds like that's her why. Okay. I'm taking a look at several other comments in here.
Oh
So
my
as
God!
I go,
Rhonda just said I have anxiety attacks every time I have to travel back to the U.S. Boy, can I relate to that? Can I
I
relate to that? I just got back from the States. I've been to the States more in the last few months than I've been in the last 5 years. So I go back and I want to go see my mom. That's one thing. But man, I wish you lived in Costa Rica actually. So, but anyway, I totally
absolutely.
relate to that. It's just so different there than it is here.
Well, see, and that's what Michelle and Rhonda said in agreement in controlling your environment. CYE, man, write that down somewhere on your refrigerator. CYE, controlling your environment. She says that's so true, Alan. That's exactly what Michael and I have done, and we're as happy as two hogs in the mud up here on our mountain. Can't get much happier than that.
If Costa Rica is wherever, Costa Rica, Panama, if you want to try to change your life a little bit and live a simpler life, and you can actually do it, you understand like Pura Vida attitude, you understand the culture, that things are very manana here, all that kind of stuff. Once you settle in, man, it's kind of an easy breezy life. You got your time, you can do your thing you want to do. There's no, oh my gosh, I got to do this and this and this today. No, you don't. No, you don't. But in the States, we're so go,
We're
go, 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 task, check, 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 check. But here you have to actually calm yourself down. And once you find that calmness and become one with the calmness, oh my God, it's like heaven. Heaven.
absolutely. Well, take a look at what Melissa says. She says, I understand the reason why there are so many bars on the windows in Costa Rica, but what is it like to actually live in a barred house? I'd be worried about fire while I'm sleeping and a lack of egress. And for me, of course, now where I live at, I'll never have bars on my house. And really, depending on where you go, you don't really need bars. Now, obviously, in some places, you really need to have the bars. So there is that maybe fear of egress. But hey, if you got more than one door and most of the doors, it doesn't matter if it's locked on the outside or not, you can simply get out easily, without a key from the inside. So you got more than one egress, that maybe not a problem. But what in reality is, they're just hardly ever any fires in Costa Rica because concrete and metal just don't burn. I mean, so there's not a lot of fires in Costa
Yeah, yeah.
Rica.
And when there are fires, because I know somebody that did this, they do it themselves. So, uh,
So yeah, so really, I've Rebecca and I have lived in a lot of houses, renting all over Costa Rica. Every single one of them had bars on them. But my point is, you don't have to. If you can control your environment, you can pick a location where it's nice, gated community. You don't have to have bars on your window. So I hope that helps you, Melissa, in answering that question a
well,
little bit.
well, I got a couple more things about bars. I have bars on my windows. You got to remember, this is a cheap man's security guard. Okay, everyone in the States, they got their gated communities with a guard, key card access, spikes in the thing where the guard is, and all kinds of stuff. And you have your Ring cameras and all that kind of stuff, which you can get here as well, but or get them from the States here. But the bars on the thing are nice here because they're kind of cheap. You can get them to look nice too, by the way. They don't have to be ugly. I don't know where this thing that they have to be ugly bars. I've in the real estate side of our YouTube, we've seen houses that are beautifully barred, but it's a good security measure because it is a good deterrent. Because the problem here isn't the bigger problem in like where I'm at is more crimes of opportunity because unfortunately, like a lot of places, we got a couple crackheads, man. We got a couple
Right.
crackheads, and crackheads don't think. When they're really messed up, they'll wander in a house. They don't. they'll open the door. They don't even almost care if you're there. They're not thinking. They're not in the right mindset. So some of these things are just good precautions. I just recently put the bars or the gated door in front of my door, and I just it's a nice. Could people get in? Probably, if they really want. If somebody really wants to get in your house, they'll really get in your house. But it's a
Whether you
cheap
have bars
option
or
here.
not.
It's a cheap option here to keep them going on their way. And again, you can get nice bars. And if you don't want bars, you don't have to get them. But you better, if you're not going to do bars, you would definitely probably want the cameras, want the dog, want your stuff better be secure in your house. It's just the bars are just a good measure out here, and they also do a
Yeah.
lot of bob wire. A lot of people give shit for the bob wire, but it's their cheaper security option. And
Right.
they're not a first world country like you, so they have to secure their stuff by the means they have, and they all can't afford security guards with guns and gated communities and key card access stuff. So
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, Michael, because really, most it's like you said, it's all opportunity crime, okay? And so most Ticos have bars because it's cheap, but you don't have to have bars. One big dog, not a little bitty dog tied to a 3-foot leash. One big dog, couple of cameras, and you don't have to worry about bars. And most Ticos, they're scared of dogs, okay?
that's
Most
true.
people see my little bitty dog Nikki. She's a medium size. They scared of her. Now take a look at take a look at John. John says, I'm making a move sometime next year. Luckily, I've got plenty of money set aside, so that won't be an issue. I've just been convincing my wife, and the last child is getting married in December. So I'm bouncing. So congratulations, John. He's making the
Sounds
move.
like he's leaving with her or without her.
Maybe she'll eventually come along. So hey, we rooting for you, John. We rooting for you and the honey. So
Well, I got this has no really bearing too much, but I want to answer anyway because I know somebody, John Miller, said, any advice on starting a weightlifting and martial arts? I can tell you, man, jiu-jitsu is getting very, very popular in Costa Rica in certain parts. We even have one of my friends is actually a teacher in jiu-jitsu here in the Fortuna area. But jiu-jitsu, just like in a lot of places, is getting weirdly popular. And it's weightlifting. There's not a whole lot of powerlifting going on here. I used to be a power lifter, so I know. I mean, I'm almost amazed at the young kids today. They look good. They look really good, but they're kind of weak, actually. So I don't know if you meant weightlifting as in big time weights, but the gym, like my La Fortuna used to never have a gym. Now they got like 3 or 4. So there is options, but I really like the fact that the jiu-jitsu martial arts thing is getting popular. It's really nice to see. So
now I can tell you this, John, that if you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a gym, the money that you can make is absolutely phenomenal. I almost started a gym myself, okay, a few years ago, and I've been watching. And so here's my opinion. I probably shouldn't tell you that because I'm giving away what I'm thinking I might do in the future. But if you were to actually start a small, like 24/7 type gym, you could do a 24/7 type gym. It's a small gym where you really only have to have one employee that's constantly cleaning, so people could go in and out 24/7, and it's just small. You could put one of those up in every single small community, and you can make money. I've been watching gyms become more and more popular, and the few gyms that they do have, because I'm a personal trainer, certified personal trainer. I love to go work out. However, it's hard to find a gym that actually has enough equipment. You go into a gym and they've got one rack of dumbbells, and so one girl has got the 20s, and she's going to hold on to them for the next 30 minutes while there's not another set. So yeah, if in my opinion, if you open up a little old gym and it's a decent sized town, you're going to make money. That's
it's
just my
getting
opinion.
better. It is getting better. I got to say that used to be big time true here in Fortuna, because I actually thought the same thing. When I first came here, I had a little bit of money, and that was one of the ideas floating around. But the gyms here now, they're definitely not golds in the States or anything like that, but they have gotten better. I'll just say that they've definitely gotten better. But yeah, it used to definitely be like what you were just saying. Um, but the only problem with the gyms is if it's catering. Okay, so my gym is $40 a month.
I find
Now,
it's more expensive here to go to the gyms than in the
yeah,
United
I don't
States.
care. I mean, I never care how much a gym is because I use it. If I
Right.
didn't use it, I wouldn't, I want to pay it. But
Right.
I've gone to the gym all my life. So whether it's $20 or 120, I'm going. I'm
Right.
going. But a lot of Ticos, even $40 a month as a line budget line item, that can be kind of a lot, a little bit. So like Fortuna, both gyms in the center of town, both will, cater to gringos as well that are just passing through and want to get a workout in. And I think they charge like $5 a day with that. They've been here. The one's been here a really long time, 15, 16 years now. And this other one just started 2 years ago. And there's various other ones that have been around. So again, it's getting better. I mean, these things are, just like everything, they're getting more
Yeah.
modern here, I think.
Absolutely. It's
I don't know if
taken,
that's good or
and
bad.
I'm glad that you brought that up because somebody sent me an email yesterday because I sent out an email letting people know about what we're talking about today. And they went on a rant on how Costa Rica's no longer any good. It's not like it used to be 8 years ago, 10 years. Hey, nothing, no place, no country is like it was 8 years ago. There's always going to be progress. When Rebecca and I first came here 10 years ago, we were down in San Vito. The internet was horrible. It was horrible everywhere unless you was at a tourist area. Guess what? They've just about strung fiber optic all over the country. Now it's there. You can't use it in a lot of places, but my point is they've strung it, and eventually, piece by piece, they're connecting in different towns. They're making progress. That is awesome. Okay, so nothing is going to be the same. Yes, everything goes up. No, it's not cheap like it used to be 20 years ago. Everything changes now.
There,
uh
I just want to. We do have a CrossFit here, by the way. Somebody mentioned CrossFit. One of the gyms is CrossFit. The only reason I don't go there is I'm too old to be doing all those herky jerky movements. To be honest with you, I wish I could. Actually, I like that kind of total body thing going on, but that even that thing with the rope, that would probably take my back out in about 5 seconds. So
Right. Well, and
yeah.
the good thing is, it's like you said, they're making lots of changes. So, hey, you could just about find what you want. Hey, Shauna says, question, is there a good community in and around San Francisco near Carmona? Now, if you're talking about Carmona on the Nicoya Peninsula, I can tell you one thing, and I think this is true. You disagree with me or agree there, Michael, but I don't care where you're at in Costa Rica. If you get out and look, you can find a good community almost anywhere. Now, if you're over in San Jose, there are some places, but it's really easy to kind of pick out where the bad communities are. Okay. So if you drive around and you get on the outskirts, like Michael is always saying, you can absolutely find a good community almost any location in Costa Rica, whether it's around San Francisco near Carmona. Rebecca and I lived in Carmona two different times in our travels of house sitting and going around trying different places. So I think you can find good community anywhere. What you think, Michael?
Well, yes, they are. If you're nice, they're gonna take you in and be. It can turn into like a family thing. I can't tell you how many people talk about wherever they put down their roots, that the people around them, their neighbors, they're all so tight with each other. Eventually, with the ticos around them, it's almost like a family thing, which is nice. It's nice having some people have your back or to watch your house. I mean, you always hear the bad stories about ticos taking advantage, which can also be true, by the way. But once you live in a place and you get to know the surrounding, it's kind of nice to have those people again have your back and do things with, and help you with Spanish stuff and all that.
Oh, absolutely. Where I live at, there's not a lot of people. But the one neighbor that I have who helped me to install my internet and everything, we've become absolutely great friends. So anytime there's a birthday, just the other day, his father celebrated his 78th birthday, and he says, "Look, it's only family, but we wanted to invite you." They consider us family. We go down there. We had a great time talking and stuff. And it's great because guess what? I look after him. He looks after me. If someone comes down the road, we know who's coming down the road. And, so it's that, like you said, take you in as a family.
I just want to say this real quick because we have to, man. We have to plug. We do have the relocation retreat coming up next week. Actually, I think there's 2 slots left or something. But anyway, we have them. They're yearly. There's more than 2 or 3 a year. But anyway, if Costa Rica is on your map, if you are having, you don't like the issues of whatever your country is, and you're looking at Costa Rica, maybe that relocation retreat, 6-7 day event can answer your questions. I think it will. I think after the event, you will know if Costa Rica is right for you, or it's, honey, we're going to Portugal. But I also believe that just the contacts you will meet there is worth the price of admission. So if you're interested in the relocation retreat, either this one coming up in a week, which you could still go to, the next one will probably be around February, March, I think. And that information is always going to be in my stuff, in my YouTube stuff, and his stuff.
That's right. That's right.
So,
And
you can sign up with Alan. You can sign up with me if it's on your radar and you want to get some serious questions answered. So I just want to do that real quick.
Yeah, and it's not quite sold out, but it is doggone getting close. So if you're like, hey, I'm wanting to go, but well, now's the time to secure your seat. And I'm not saying this as a scare tactic, but like Mike said, possibly we might have the next one February, March, but there's no guarantee simply because we don't know what the government's going to do. Are they going to try to lock things down? Well, if they lock things down, we may not be able to have another event until after that craziness is over with. We will have another one eventually. When will it be? I don't know. So if you're thinking about it, now is probably the time. But if it's too far out, hey, eventually there'll be another. George says, hey, I live in Costa Rica and I had 100 reasons to leave the U.S. I retired at 62 and the health insurance would have been too much pre-Medicare. So that's his reason as to why he left his home country.
Well, it's funny. It's not funny, but, the health care system in the United States is pretty, I mean, compared to other first world countries, it's pretty sad, but we won't get into that. Yeah. It's expensive. But people come down here and they go, yeah, I'm going to get my residency. And they're telling me that Caja is going to be $260 a month for my health insurance. Okay. You might consider, I don't know what's that even mean? So could you get the health insurance in the States for that? I'm not saying it's maybe you got to tie other health options with the Caja, the socialized medicine here, but I'm not sure where you can get, all that stuff for $260, $200. Sometimes it's $150 a month. Can be as high as $400, which is pretty high here. If you're getting your residency like the rentista route. I'm not going to explain all these things, sorry, because it's going to get convoluted. But I'm just saying the healthcare system is whacked in the States for real. So whatever it is, it's going to be a lot cheaper here. That's all I can say. Maybe not. You might go, well, it's still, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they're not going to give it to you free. So.
Right. Now, take a look at this is an important question because Biddy says, is there some way to finance property from the U.S.? In other words, I want to buy some property. Is it possible to finance? So the short answer is no, but yes. Okay. So, if you go on a real estate site, you're going to find properties that are just very, very expensive. There are some pros to looking at a real estate site. They've handpicked the ones that are good or handpicked the ones that, they've already checked the liens and all of that stuff in some way. However, not every piece of property is expensive. I bought a piece of property in Costa Rica. It was in a little bitty tiny town. And I started knocking on doors, man. I'm looking for a piece of property. I'm looking, and the smallest I could buy according to the law was 200 square meters. I paid 1 million colones. At the time, it was about $1,600. So I could have built a house on it. I just needed it for my internet tower. So you can buy cheap property, but can you finance property here? You might get lucky and talk to an owner who will owner finance it for you. And then you put a sizable amount down and they'll owner finance it. So those do still happen, but it is way more difficult to actually finance a piece of property. It's not as easy like it is in the United States.
Well, I do have somebody that does finance properties. They are equity loans. They're not going to give it to you for free. So you would have to, like, let's say you were building a house, you would have to own the land on it. So like if you paid, let's say $100,000 for a big piece of property and you didn't have quite enough to build your home, I do have a guy that does do equity loans and he helps start businesses too. But again, it's usually a win-win situation. He doesn't want to own your land. He wants you to pay back the money. But if you think it's going to be at 3% interest, you'd be very wrong on that. It's probably going to be anywhere from 12, maybe to 16. But a lot of times that's beneficial enough for people to push that project through, to start that business. But you will be putting your land up. You know, if you don't do it, he's going to own your land, which he doesn't want. But you can get equity loans here, and he's got a 25-year-old track record. So just saying, not trying to sell you anything.
Yeah, and if we're talking about the same guy, he'll actually be speaking at the event this round. So it is possible, but like Michael said, you're not going to be getting some bank loan. Okay. No bank in Costa Rica, from my opinion, or I could be wrong, but not a single Costa Rican bank is going to loan you any money because you're not a resident and you're not a Tico. Okay. So there's other ways to doing it. Hey, George here says, I'm a pensionado. In other words, he's retired. He proves that he makes at least $1,000 a month from the government, and he has to pay $450 a month for a caja based on $2,300 a month income, and he still has to pay IVM and has not been able to get out of it. So he's giving you how much his health care cost is as a pensionado, showing that he gets in $2,300 a month. Now, and caja is based on several things.
Yeah, but this brings up a good point. That's a lot, and I would be a little maybe upset with my immigration person.
Yeah. I would say he got the wrong one
because we all know now that you want to be as close but over $1,000. That's what you want to show, you know. And somehow, I don't want to say it can be manipulated. I'm not going to say that, but you need an immigration lawyer that's going to work with you, because you don't want to show a bunch of money. That's the reason you don't want to show, well, I got this money, I have this and this and this. No, you want to use the option that's at least $1,000 or more, like your Social Security. Maybe, you know, the wife has Social Security and maybe it's a little less. You don't want to use yours if it's $2,500. You want to use hers if it's $1,100. You know, so that's what your caja is based on. So, and that the other thing you're talking about, again, you might want to you might want to have a stern talking to with your immigration lawyer.
So, absolutely.
You know, can I say something real quick? I just saw this. I started an online health and wellness coaching. You know, it's funny. We were talking about all the gym, you know, and starting a gym, going to the gym. And she's talking about health and wellness. You know, the thing about Costa Rica is most people's backyard is a gym. You know what I mean? There is so much, man. You could do chin-ups on trees. There's hiking. There's hills that are a little bit more complicated than other ones. You can riding a bike. I mean, Costa Rica gives a backdrop. The whole country is a gym, whether you're by the beach, running in the sand. I mean, there's just so many things you could actually do without even joining a gym. So just remember that you don't even have to live by a gym. There doesn't even have to be a gym in your town. And trust me, you can work out, especially with all the stuff on YouTube now. That there's a lot of good ideas out there from people that do this, you know, whether it's CrossFit exercises, whether it's powerlifting exercises, bodylifting exercises, people that are getting old exercises, there's all kinds of stuff out there. Just find the person that suits you, follow along. But trust me, you can do Costa Rica. Most people's they're just outside their door is a gym.
Absolutely. Now, and look, you know, I'm an online nut. So while the health and wellness industry is a tough nut to get into, if you know your stuff and you get into it, you can absolutely make decent money by being an online health and wellness coach. Now take a look at John. John says, hey, going back to that healthcare, is that $1,000 per household or $1,000 per person? So if I'm understanding correctly, in pensionado, you only need to show, only one person has to show $1,000. You got to have at least 1,000. So don't be making the mistake of, man, I got 200 and 500 and pension. Hey, only show that you make 1,000, okay? And you don't. Who cares what your wife makes or whoever has the lowest, as long as it's at least 1,000. Prove that, and that way your kaha is not going to be extreme or crazy high. So I hope that answered.
I'm going to say this as gently as possible. There's always, let's say, loopholes. That's all I can say. There's loopholes in almost everything in Costa Rica. I'm not saying illegal. Loopholes are legal, just so we're clear. But there's ways to get that down, I think. So, again, I'd be talking to some maybe new immigration people.
Absolutely. Okay, so hey, I want to know. Okay, so we're talking about we're talking about, is it time to leave, right? Why tell folks if you're not already here. Matter of fact, I'd like to know, for some of you that are already here, put in a comment that you're already here and why you left. But hey, some of you folks, tell me, why is it, other than politics, why is it you're leaving? Why is it you want to leave? This is helping people to today decide, why do they want to leave? What is it that's causing them? What one thing is keeping you from getting off the fence? Okay.
It's funny when obviously I didn't come here because of the politics 18 years ago. I was so wide-eyed. We were so stupid. It was almost the opposite. It was like, let's go to Costa Rica, kind of like you and Rebecca were a little bit. It was just like, I guess if I had to say, it was an adventure. It was a new adventure. My life, my previous life was completely different. I was in this opportunity to make a change, and it just came up. It was never in my head like, yeah, I really got to move out of the United States. An opportunity came about, and it was like, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Houston here says, we're flying in next week. Where is the retreat being held? So, hey, all you got to do is go into the description below, either in my YouTube channel, Michael's YouTube channel, hit that link. It's going to be over in Estorils. It's going to be for a whole week long. So if you're flying in next week, might be time for you to jump in on the event while we're here, okay? Guaranteed that you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, if you're wondering where Estorils Este is, whoever asked that question, it's between Manuel Antonio and Jaco on the Pacific side. Or no, I'm sorry, not the Pacific side. Is it Pacific?
Yeah, it's the Pacific side.
Oh, okay, sorry. So in between Jaco and Manuel Antonio.
That's right. Now, Lisa's saying, well, why do you think they might lock things down? Well, just the underground news that I'm looking at, they're trying to lock things down again. Is it because they won't mail-in ballots? Is it because they're trying to control? There's a whole lot of reasons as to why they're wanting to lock things down, and it's really, in my opinion, is just all control. But the underground news that I research, they're already wanting to push out another COVID variant, another lockdown, and a lot of the countries are saying, no, we're not doing this again. It didn't help, but we don't know what's going to happen. So I don't want to go too deep into all that. But hey, I'm hoping I'm 100% wrong. I'm hoping everything's going to be smooth sailing like it is right now.
Well, I don't know. You're really saying control your life, or control it as much as you can. And there's, it really is, man. We're getting older. You got to do you. You got to do what's best for you, because nobody is looking out for you. That's how right. I view it. I just don't. I don't look to anybody but myself for answers. I don't wait for that. I take responsibility for the good and bad that happens in my life, for the decisions I make. I definitely don't wait for the government to do what's right, because they're not going to. So I can bitch about them all day long, but what can I really do? I can make a move. And although the Costa Rican government is probably just as corrupt as any other government in the world, it is a little bit easier. It is a little bit easier to live a little off-griddy, a little bit under the radar, a little bit, and that's all closing in, by the way. I mean, that's all closing in with this globalization stuff, but it is a little easier here than it is in the States. And there's just many places in Costa Rica where you could be totally get lost. Talk about off the grid.
Yeah. And, living here in Costa Rica does have its benefits, and like live slow and die whenever says, hey, I exchange dinners with my Tico neighbors, literally bar a cup of sugar. It's small town living. Yes, that actually still happens here. I live very, very, very remote. Nobody up here has a refrigerator or a freezer. But guess what? I'm kind of spoiled. I do. And I had to put in a solar system for all of that stuff. But guess what? My neighbors, when they buy meat, they come over here, they put it in my freezer, my refrigerator. And so they borrow my stuff and I borrow their stuff. It's small town living. It's exactly what Live Dice has to say there.
Yeah, you don't want to be that gringo, man. You do not want to be that person that's like Scroogey, you know,
Yeah.
because it's just going to benefit you to at least be, hey, hola, cómo estás, qué tal, pura vida. You may not have to get knee deep in conversations, but you want to have a smile on your face when you go by your neighbors and say hello, help out
Yeah.
when you can.
I like to give back any way I can. And so it's part of it. And if you just, you do have the gringos that think they're better than everybody else, and they don't say, well, I don't want to be that person. But take a look at what Karen says. Karen, I got a good answer for you. She says, I'm coming to San Jose for 2 months, bringing a small dog or their pet sitter businesses.
Yeah,
Maybe
your
in San
neighbor.
Jose. What was that, Michael?
Your neighbor is your pet sitter. Everyone does it
There
like
you
that.
go.
I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but that's why you get friends with your neighbors. I can't take D'Angelo, my partner in crime here. They exchange dogs like it is sugar. Hey, can you watch my dog? I'm going to the States for a week. Can you watch my cat? I mean, that stuff happens all the time. So when you start meeting people wherever you are, whether it's gringos or Chicos, they're pretty good about it, doing that. Now it's our circle of friends. I don't want to say that we just give our dog out to anybody. But
Right.
it is obviously friends that we trust. We just wouldn't give it out. But that goes on a lot here is helping out people like that. So because there's not that, there's not
Yeah.
really that. So
Yeah. It's exact same thing. We're going to the event next week. Well, my neighbor will be taking care of my cat down here. Nikki goes with me everywhere, so she'll be at the event. But hey, my neighbor will be taken care of. So, my point here is, hey, if you were an entrepreneur and you set up a pet sitting business, I don't think you'd make a whole lot of money unless you were in a big town like San Jose metropolitan area. Maybe in San Isidro, you might make money. But in all of the small towns, I don't think you'd make any money as a pet sitter. Maybe as a dog walker, pet sitter, temporary thing, you might pick up a few coins. But I just don't think you'd make a lot of money because, hey, everybody here, you take care of my dog, I'll take care of your dog. Kind of that kind of thing.
I like Manzanita expresses reasons why they moved here. I think they moved here. Besides politics, they talk. Can you pull that up? It's right. There's 2 of them, but yeah, I like those. Those are kind of how I feel, I think.
Yeah. So Manzanita says,
Natural
here are
beauty,
my reasons
natural
other
beauty.
than politics.
Can you hit the
Go ahead.
fireworks for natural beauty? Hit your fireworks for natural beauty. There we go. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Laid back lifestyle, tropical climate. I like it.
Access to high quality health care, and the opportunity to experience a different culture and a way of life. Additionally, environmental sustainability, biodiversity, seek more eco-friendly lifestyle. So, hey, all of that is great stuff. That's the reason I'm here. I love nature. I love waterfalls. I love rivers. It's different.
Well, permaculture is all the rage, man. Everybody, I mean, I get a lot of emails about they want to start their own permaculture. They're going to start their own garden. They want to do things organically. That's huge down here, huge, especially with the gringos,
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of people, since you can get land outside of, like, let's say my town, Fortuna, for cheap, that's usually a big, everyone talks about the garden. Everyone talks about, because everything grows so easily down here. I mean, you have, avocado. I mean, D'Angelo, just in his 800 square meters up by his house by the volcano, avocados and cas and mangoes and guava, and I mean, there's just, list goes on and on and on. There's just plantains and bananas and all of it, just right there, right there. Papayas, it's all.
There are more and more people, like you said, Michael, that they're wanting to do what I'm doing. Now, I didn't move to Costa Rica to become self-sufficient, but I live so far away from town. I just enjoy that crap, man. I like having a garden. I like putting in my own trout ponds. I like that stuff. I live so far away from town. I like to be self-sufficient, so I don't have to go into town and buy all of the fruits and vegetables and stuff. And I'm a health nut, so hey, you know what? I grow a garden so that I can have good, clean produce to eat. Okay.
Somebody said, do you think the eco-centered or other intentional communities are worth a look? Just be careful, man. Just be careful on that, because obviously they're selling you lots, selling you houses, all that kind of stuff. So obviously, that's just a homework research thing, because they are down here.
They're down here, and so you've got to watch some of those, because it's like anything. There's people that will that's their gimmick, and they know people love it. So hey, the price is going to cost you a whole lot more. You need to do your homework. Absolutely. And look, folks, it's just like John Miller said right here. There's nothing more than important than if we're giving you some great comment, hit that like button, leave comments. And real important, you may have questions after this is all over in just a couple of minutes. And if you've got a question for me, well, you need to go to my channel. You need to go to this video, put the questions for me. Because if you put a question for me on Michael's channel, well, I'm not trolling his channel. I'm not answering those questions, and vice versa. Michael's not trolling my videos to look for questions for him. So if you got a question for Michael, go to his channel and leave that question so that we can answer your questions once this is over if you're watching the replay, okay?
After you hit the like button, go over to TravelCostaRicaNow.com and hit the donate button so I can get some more white t-shirts.
Well, hey, I'm gonna bring you some of my leftover black t-shirts, Michael.
No, where's Rebecca? Sew some damn sleeves on that shirt, dude. Rebecca, do you let him go out like that for real? Jesus.
I can't do a thing with him.
Sleeves.
All right. Hey, James says the biggest concern I have is the real cost of the change and the ability to run a business from there. We stayed on Monte Verde earlier this year and absolutely loved it. Hey, Monte Verde is a touristy area. Your biggest concern is the real cost of running a business here. From my understanding, it is much more expensive, maybe a little bit more difficult to run a business in Costa Rica. However, it could be a lot cheaper because labor is cheap. So in Costa Rica, they don't want you to really run your own business. I'm not going to say that's true for every scenario, but they want you to hire Ticos to run your business for you. And so, yeah, that's going to be a little bit different, but labor is very cheap. So, hey, a little bit of research, and hey, I can tell you one thing. And this is just my opinion. Some people don't agree with me, but if you come here and you know how to run a business, you're going to absolutely make money because you're going to do it with a spirit of excellence, or you're going to do it better than most Ticos. And I'm not saying Ticos do it wrong. I'm just saying that Ticos, it's good enough. And so their business, when they run it, they don't care if they open or close.
Their businesses aren't as good because they're not service-oriented people. They don't understand that, hey, I saw Michael having coffee in my place every day this week. Maybe I should go give Michael a free cup of coffee and tell him to invite his friends and get maybe 10% off a pizza. They don't do that. They don't do that. They think of only now. I've made about 3 videos in the last 18 years about that. If you came down and started a business and just do it better, I mean, which is not that hard to do. All your employees are, hey, hola, where are you from? And have smiles and cater and get that drink out to you quicker, which they don't do. All that kind of little detailed stuff. You would kill it. You would kill it. Attention to detail and customer service.
100%. If you just give customer service. I mean, here's just an example. When we first came down here, all of the stores, the grocery stores, were horrible where we lived at. But then there was this group that had been to the United States, saw the stores. They came back and they established what's called the BMAs, the great big old BM, B, and a big old M. Now the BMAs have blown up and they know how to do a grocery store right. I'm talking about lighting, air conditioners, clean bathrooms, customer service. Guess what? Every BMA you see, and they're located usually in the south part from San Isidro down, or not even in San Isidro. Well, yeah, in San Isidro down south. The BMAs stay jammed packed. Why? Because they said, you know what? We're not going to have stores like all of the other Ticos do. We're going to do ours a little bit better, and their stores stayed packed. All you got to do is do it right. And like Michael said, it ain't hard to do it right. You'll make a killing.
Kids, I got to go, man. I want to say thank you to all of you. We love your support and your comments, and you be hanging out with us for an hour on Sunday. We really, really do appreciate it. And we'll be back next Sunday. But unfortunately, I got to go because I'm out of coffee. Alan, I'll see you next week. Everybody, peace.
All right. We'll see you next week. Y'all have a great one.
I'm a swinger.